I saw you standing there the first time that I laid my eyes on you. I couldn't get you out of all the thoughts I had. And now the end is near, and I just couldn't seem to get it right. I guess it's time to go. Yeah.
And we're back. Gabe, man, my boy, how are you?
I'm good, man.
Dude, we're in lockdown again.
I know. It's like flashbacks.
Dude, it's crazy to think. I thought this was gonna be over after my spring break.
I know. And we were just talking about how we had like kind of trips planned out. Like you had a trip to, was it Tahoe that you had planned out?
So I was gonna go to Tahoe after Thanksgiving. I was gonna be over there the 27th through the 29th with some buddies, and we're gonna go stay at a place over there. But after everything shut down, like the lift tickets are gone or not there till next year.
Can't even buy them.
Can't even buy them, and then the restaurant like just takeout. Like what are we gonna do over there?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but it's whatever. Figure it out and just stay home and chill, be doing what we've been doing.
I know it's crazy because it's such a bad timing. I feel like everyone was just starting to get used to, okay, things are starting to reopen. We're starting to get back to a little bit of what normal is, right? Like even the school was telling me, okay, we're going to get planned to open up schools November 30th. That's the plan, right? And next thing you know, we're in purple tier and like, okay, forget about everything we just said. Like it's not going to happen.
Purple tier is the worst tier?
Purple tier is the worst tier, yeah. That's when you average more than 7 cases a day. And
Dude,
so we were averaging like
insane.
6.2 for like the last 3 weeks, and then this last week it was like over 7.
And that's in the county?
Yeah, but it's like every county, and I guess like I don't know. My dad was telling me that LA was like people are starting to freak out and starting to buy toilet paper and all the like the cleaning stuff all over again. Like it's all like
again.
It's insane. Yeah.
You know what's funny, bro? Is when that first started happening, I was in Santa Rosa and I was living with Matt and Brandon. Excuse me, bro. I can't get it out. But I just remember one time I came home from class and Matt comes home from work and he had this fat roll of toilet paper. Mm-hmm. And he was like, dude, I had to go to like 4 stores to find this thing. I was like, what? Why? And he was like, dude, everyone's freaking out. Like this was before everything got shut down. And he's like, dude, everyone's freaking out and buying toilet paper. I was like, freaking out about what? Mm-hmm. Like what's going on? Like,
before you even knew what was going on, dude.
I was like, you're such an idiot, man. And I just remember like a week later, everything shut down. And then that's when it was like difficult to find toilet paper.
And I don't understand that because people realize if everything just stays the same, as long as you don't overreact and everyone's just buying what they need, the toilet paper is always going to be there. But it's the fact that people go in there thinking like this is the end of the world and we need to shovel freaking 10 stacks of toilet paper on the wall just in case something happens. That's when we start running out.
Yeah, I mean, it's just those people that I don't know. I don't know. There should be enough toilet paper for everyone.
I know, man. That's what I'm trying to say. Free the toilet paper, man.
Whatever though. How's work been?
It's been going, man. I have a break now. I have a week off for Thanksgiving break. Yeah, so I'm thankful for that. But honestly, like I'm still on the grind right now because I just kind of like decided that I'm going back and doing my master's. So yeah, and honestly, shout out to Mandel. That was a good episode. It kind of convinced me. Like
really,
it made me rethink everything because I was on the fence when I talked to you about it before, and then I talked to him, and he was saying like, man, just go out and do it, you know. And I kind of like sat back after the episode. I thought about it and I was like, yeah, let me just look into it. So like this weekend, I kind of had it set, like put it on my calendar. I was like, look into colleges. So I'm going to set like 3 to 4 hours aside. I'm going to go through the colleges that I'm interested right now. It's like Sonoma State and Sac State are my 2. Mm-hmm. And then I need to look at what programs they have and then figure out when the application deadlines and stuff are. But yeah.
What did you major in?
I majored in psychology and sociology. So I double majored.
And then once you're done with your undergrad, are there only certain programs that you can apply for?
No, you can apply for anything. So as far as I know.
So if you did your undergrad in psychology,
you could do your master's in something totally different.
Really?
Yeah, I'm almost certain that you can do it that way.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think you just have to apply for that, and obviously, I don't know if there's like I think there might be some prereqs for some stuff that you need to apply for. Like,
yeah.
I was looking at Sonoma briefly, and they said if you want to go in for like general psychology, you need to have at least passed this course in psych. Like it's a minimum requirement.
But you've done it because.
But I've done it because I majored in exactly. So
interesting.
I don't think you have to be a psych major to major in to go master in psych.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know you could just choose another thing. You know.
Yeah.
Well,
people change their mind all the time. I feel like I always hear that like somebody undergrad in something and then majored or did a doctorate in something completely different. It's like people's minds change, people's passions change and stuff. So that's totally normal.
What is something that you'd want to get your master's in?
I'm thinking counseling right now. Counseling or some form of therapy. I always feel like I'm good at talking to people and like I can calm people down. And working as a behavioral therapist for that year and then working in the job that I am right now, I just feel like I'm really good at like de-escalating people. Like I have a kid who's like always frantically like yelling or screaming, or he just doesn't listen and he's like fidgeting and stuff. And I'm like just able to like, kind of meet him where he's at, kind of talk to him very level headed, explain to him like what's going on. It's very normal what's going on. And then just kind of de-escalate him to a point where he's able to talk to me normal and then get him back to the groove of doing work. And I mean, people have always told me that I work with, like, you're really good at doing that. Like, it's just like a natural talent that you have. And so I was like, all right, cool. Like, I feel like this is something I'm good at. If I can apply that to something else in the future in a higher profession that I can get paid more in, that'd be sick. But
Nice.
we'll see.
So
man.
you want like counseling?
Yeah, right now I'm thinking counseling. Yeah,
Dude, that'd be sick.
counseling or therapy.
Mr.
Yeah.
Hernandez,
Some
the
form of
counselor.
therapy. Yeah, but we'll see, man. What about you? How's it been?
It's been good, man. My semester's coming to a close. It's been weird because my assignments have been set up to where there's no like weekly deadline. It's just you get the syllabus, all the assignments that are due a certain week, like you're supposed to get them done that week. But really everything's due at the end of this month, so 11/30, the 30th of this month.
Yeah.
And that's for like 3 of my classes, all my assignments are due. So
Are you caught up?
no, I'm pretty behind. I'm pretty behind on like the two my graphics and my research class is kind of the same instructor, so it's like the same structure for that course, for both courses, I should say. And so it's like 1 through 14 weeks, and I'm about at like 11 right now, and I think it's like 2 weeks until the deadline. But the good thing is that, I mean, if I just grind it out a day, like I could probably get everything done.
And that's something I'll say is like when I was in college, they always give you the syllabus and they expect you to have this done by this day. It's like so you can stay on track so you're not falling behind.
Yeah.
But honestly, I feel like no one ever really follows that. People are always falling behind. It's a very normal thing for anyone who's in college. Stuff comes up, you're busy, you got a bunch of other things to do, you're trying to do sports at the same time for some people. And so it's like a lot of the times you're going to put stuff off or you're going to procrastinate and you're going to do it like the night before. And it's totally normal. Like,
Yeah.
you just got to get it done, you know?
Yeah, it's very true. And for me, like, I don't know about you or other people, but this year has gone by so fast. Just to think, like,
This
when
year
this
has
whole
gone by
when this whole pandemic started, was what, mid March,
Yeah, and
and we're already in November. Like, it's
Dude,
insane.
yeah.
You know, like I don't remember half the stuff that happened. And so, like, same with the semester. Like, it went by so fast. And like you say, you have all the assignments, you have an idea of when they're due, and then things happen, you know, like you're busy with other classes, you're busy with work, you're busy with anything. Life happens, you know.
Absolutely.
And that's a good thing about my instructors, and that they're very understanding about everything, and they're very cool. You know, I try not to email them, but when I do need help or when I do need, you know, like maybe I turn in an assignment late, they're very understanding.
That's dope.
And it's cool, you know. And Sonoma State in particular, they're very kind of used to, like, the fires had happened a few years back, and
that's right.
Yeah, so everything's like they
So
like
used
they
to
have an
being
issue.
flexible.
Yeah, very flexible, and it seems like they have an issue like every year, and but it's been good. It's been good. That my classes, I just registered for my last 2 courses, so I graduate next spring.
Dude, congrats. Hell
Dude,
yeah.
it's exciting, man. Turn in my graduation application. My last 2 courses is my seminar, and then my marketing management class. So I'm gonna just be taking those 2. And then we just got word that we're gonna be training next spring as well.
Dude.
So we got our schedule for training.
Oh,
I got
yeah.
my classes. Now I just need to find a place to stay over there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Gotta
saying?
find
Like
a
that's
spot.
the thing. When I moved back over here during the pandemic, gave up my housing. You know, so the thing is, I moved in with people that were already graduated, people that were older and kind of in a different stage in life, to where I'm still trying to finish up school, and they're trying to find somebody to live their life with, and they're trying to find their careers and trying to find their own house. You
Isn't
know,
that
like,
crazy, bro?
it's insane, man. It's good for them, you know.
Oh,
like I love to
absolutely.
be surrounded by people that are very ambitious like that, and I was very fortunate to be. Shout out to Matt Ball. Shout out to
Hey,
the
yeah.
homie Brandon, my big. Shout out to David, but they're very kind to me. They're very understanding with my situation, and just like when I had to move out, you know, like when my parents were unemployed and it was gonna be hard to pay rent and everything, they took the hit. Like, it's fine, man. Like, we'll just pay an extra $200, and they're in a position where they can do that, you know. So it's very cool to see that people that I met when I was in college are out of school now and doing well. You know what I'm saying? Doing well enough to be able to help me out like that.
That's sick.
But again, like, they're very ambitious people, which is good. They're well off now. You know what I'm saying? They're doing very well for themselves, and they're at different stages in their lives. But again, when I moved back over here, you know, I gave up that spot. You know, it's not guaranteed, and I was very fortunate to get it. And now I'm just kind of back where I started, to where I need to find somewhere. In reality, I probably don't need to. You know what I'm saying? I only have 2 classes, 8 units. I could probably just not play or not train my last semester, but at the same time, it's like I do want to go out with a bang.
You want to do it? Yeah.
You know,
I think you should do it.
I think so too. And it's really in my head that I want to. It's just
got to figure out the logistics.
Yeah, the logistics of it. You know, like the money is not an issue. It's just trying to find something that's right for me.
Yeah,
the housing. You know.
Nice.
But yeah, man, that's been me.
And how's the internship been?
Dude, it's been really good. I can't go into too much detail about it because my hope is to get some of the ladies that work there, you know, from Ensemble Marketing, to get on the podcast. You know, like that's a goal of mine. You know, they're very, very, very good people, very helpful. They're like good mentors for me. You know, like from little things of like showing me like the ropes of what they do. And I'll get into that in just a sec, but also like when we do meet people, which we're meeting a lot of people, you know, having meetings with them, Zoom meetings, talking to them, like just something as simple as like sending them a follow-up thank you. You know what I'm saying? That can maybe go a long way in the future.
It's the little things.
Yeah, you never know who's going to be looking at your resume or who's going to be making decisions to hire you later. And that's something like you tell someone like, yeah, that's common sense. You know, like if I were to see someone here at Safe, like, oh, hey, by the way, thank you so much. But it's someone that lives like in Napa Valley, like you're not going to see them at Safeway. You're not going to see them. You're not going to run into them. So something as simple as just sending them a thank you email, or maybe just giving them like after you kind of like sit back and analyze everything and like, dude, that was actually really fun, you know, like, and let them know that. And that maybe like would go a long way for them, or maybe just cheer them up, you know, like.
Absolutely.
So stuff like that, you know, like they're just very, very insightful, very helpful. And I don't know if I've gotten into it, but like half of the project, or at first it was like an internship, but this is their first internship. And it started after the whole George Floyd protests, and they're kind of looking around to see like, well, why isn't more people within the wine industry outraged about this? You know what I'm saying? And obviously like the answer is because the majority of them are Caucasian, they're white, you know? So it's like they're very disconnected. Without sounding so like messed up or generalizing, like that's kind of the general idea within the industry. And these people that do work with clients, EMG works with their clients that are wineries. You know, they help them improve their direct-to-consumer sales, their email marketing campaigns, their websites if they have to, starting their own brands within the company. Like if they do want to launch a new product, they help them with that. So it's been really cool to be part of that and just to see how the sausage is made, kind of pull back the curtain and see the behind the scenes. Like when you do receive an email from American Eagle or from Columbia, you know, like a really good email that's done well, you're not going to notice it. You're not going to think twice about it because it's done so effortlessly. It's effortless for you to read it, for you to see it, for you to click on the buttons. But to see how that's made and what goes into that process is insane. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of work behind it, you know?
A lot of people's eyes looking over.
Yeah. And it's just insane because there's so many combinations of different web browsers and different like Windows and Linux and Mac, and that changes the format of the email. So to have to do it is just a headache, you know, to see the structure that it's insane, just everything that goes behind it. Mm-hmm. And so that like half of the internship has been split up from, you know, like us working with a client. I don't want to mention names, but it's a client in Napa Valley, a really good winery, and working with them, helping them set up their email campaigns for the month of November and December. So we've been helping them out with that, like the creative process. And then the other half is like an independent study / like research. We're asking the question of how the wine industry will benefit with greater Latinx inclusion. And just kind of like breaking everything down, bro. Like it's interesting because the more people you talk to, you realize that the reason that they're asking the question is obviously because there's a lack of representation within the wine industry.
Yeah,
you know what
right.
I'm saying? When you do think Hispanics, in this case, we're using the term Latinx, but when you do think about them in the wine industry...
I think it's tequila. Oh, in the wine industry?
In the wine industry. Okay, that's a good point. When you think about alcohol in the Hispanic community...
I think tequila.
You think tequila, you think beer.
I think of Modelo, I think of...
Corona, you think Tecate, you think beer,
exactly.
You think tequila, you don't think wine.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The only thing I would correlate wine with it within the Hispanic community is what you drink in Mass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You don't like
good
go
times,
to dinner.
I remember that.
You don't go to dinner and order wine. You get my point. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't associate that. So that's hurdle number one.
That's
you know
the
what I'm
problem.
saying? Like how would you market to that group? You know, but we're really asking the question to kind of with the inclusion thing is really expanding the representation within the industry. So like I mentioned, we're talking to a lot of people. I'm like bouncing all over the place, but we're like talking to people within the wine industry that are kind of making efforts towards that. And they, like, the way they're doing it is really bridging the gap between the workers. So that's another thing too, the workers. So when you think Hispanics in the wine industry, you think the people that are picking the grapes, the wine makers.
Right.
You know, and they're a lot of the times, one thing that is making them invisible within the wine industry is the language barrier.
Yeah,
You know
that's
what I'm
got to play a
saying?
huge role.
Yes, absolutely. And that's outside of the wine industry. And I'll give you an example. Like when I worked at, when I came back from San Bernardino, I was working 2 jobs. I was working at the hotel and I was working at Luna's in Mendocino. I was working at Surf and Sand right here. It's part of the Beachcomber chain right here off Pudding Creek.
Okay.
And when I was working, I was I forget what the name was, but I basically like stripped the rooms down and prepared it for the housekeepers to come in and clean it. So I like would take the pillow covers, the bed covers off. I would clean the trash out. I would do everything, just prep it for them, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you would wait. You show up the day, you see what rooms are checking out. You see what rooms haven't checked out yet. So you have an idea of where to go first. And you know what I'm saying? Like you plan it all out. And sometimes they wouldn't check out until afternoon. So I'm kind of like, everything's done, you know, like you sweep up, you clean everything, you know, there's always work to do. But sometimes, you wouldn't be able to get to a room until they check out. So you don't really have an option but to wait. You know what I'm saying?
I'm the kind of people I wait till last minute to check out. So
yeah, okay, yeah, it's a good example.
Uh-huh.
But for whatever reason, like that room is still not available for me to clean out yet or to strip it down. So I would kind of just be hanging out, helping them fold laundry, maybe chilling, whatever, you know, like let's say they check out in 10 minutes. And I'd be in the laundry room and the ladies would be like, the other ladies, whether they work laundry or the housekeepers would be like, you better not, like in Spanish, you know, they're all Hispanics. I should mention that. But they're like, you don't stand around. Like if the boss sees you, they're going to get mad at you. They're going to tell you this and that. I'm like, why? Like I'm waiting for, you know, there's only so much you can do. You know, like I'm helping you fold towels. Whether I'm standing around, I'm taking a break, or I'm chilling, like there's really nothing that can be done right now, you know? Like I'm waiting for that's my job. I'm waiting for that to be done. Yeah. And bro, they would come, the boss would come in or whoever's at the desk would come in and like, hey, what's up, Izzy? How are you? How's your day? And we just chit chat. And like, but their perception is that the boss man, just cause his name, like he's the boss or he's the manager, like he's going to get you in trouble. So they're like scared of this guy because of his job title. When in reality, if they could speak English and they can communicate with this guy, they would see that he's friendly and you know what I'm saying? Like there's this misunderstanding or this like misperception because, is that the word, misperception?
Misunderstanding.
Misunderstanding, let's use misunderstanding because they can't really communicate with the guy. So there's this language barrier. And if they could just talk to him, like if you were the manager, hey Gabe, how are you? You could just, oh, how you been? How are your kids? Yeah. Like just something simple as that. Like there's this friendly aspect to it and that kind of eliminates that tension. So there's awkward tension and there's this like almost they act scared in a way
because they see it in tears. They said they're below this because they were hired from this person.
Man, yes, and when you're talking to people within the wine industry and people that are doing it right, they're implementing programs with the supervisors, basically like training. And what I see as like a good step is for them to implement people that are bilingual and that can communicate. Totally, yeah. So one person that we were talking to earlier this week was kind of saying that like she's Hispanic and she got the job a few weeks back. And it's for this winery in Napa Valley. And she was saying, like, as soon as she got the job, she's having the workers come up to her and talk to her and give her ideas. And it's just so cool to see because I've experienced that firsthand working with people like that outside of the wine industry. But also, like, my parents kind of do something similar. My mom's a housekeeper and she works in the laundry room, and my dad was a landscaper before the pandemic. So, like, I see, whether you want to think about it in classes and tiers, like, I would be considered the bottom, you know what I'm saying? Like they're not in management, they're not in the office, they're not in accounting, they're none of that. You know what I'm saying? Like they're kind of the grunt work of the whole organization. So kind of like it's a little bit personal for me. Like hearing her talk about it's very heartwarming to see because I can understand where they're coming from because I was raised in that environment. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's really cool, man. It's a really cool project. Dope. Yeah, dude, it's sick. And then and then hope like I'll be like again if we get these people from EMG on, hopefully, you know, fingers crossed if they do agree to it, then we can talk about it in more detail. Absolutely. There's so much more that I wish I could talk about and the people, the clients, everything, the whole process behind it. But it's been an amazing experience and it's been so cool to kind of see, like I mentioned a few episodes back, but just this whole process, what we're doing here has really helped me with what I'm doing there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so cool because like every time like you introduce yourself, like the lady that's in charge of her name's Jennifer Becker, great boss, great mentor. And whenever we're like meeting with, let's say, the director of the Wine Business Institute or the president at a certain winery or the director of talent at another winery,
Mm-hmm.
like you introduce yourself like, hey, my name's Gabe Hernandez.
And it can be nerve-wracking.
Yeah, it can be nerve-wracking, but like she's a really good like moderator, or like kind of just like, oh, hey, Izzy's doing a podcast and Izzy does this, and so he's a very innovative in this, like just hypes you up, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like if I were just to introduce myself, that's not the first thing I would say, you know, like I'm not going to mention that. Who knows if I should or I shouldn't, but it's really cool because like she sees it as something like, well, that's really cool. That's, you know, and like when you go and you talk to like marketing coordinators or people at the wineries, they're like, that's awesome. Like you don't understand how rare that is. So it's really cool. You know what I'm saying? Like advice to anyone out there, if you're thinking about starting something, or maybe, you know, you're on the fence about maybe starting a channel or a little business or something, a project, you know, do it. Like,
hell yeah.
You don't know the benefits behind it. And what we're doing here has helped me so much with the creative aspect of it, with the digital marketing side of it. You know what I'm saying? Like this thing doesn't run itself. So it's really cool to kind of just, we sit down and we're creative about it. And then we kind of explore your creativity and you're kind of forced to get out of your comfort zone. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I will say that this, what we're doing has helped me so much with that. And then the goal is for it to help me find a career after, you know what I'm saying? And exploring the wine industry and seeing if I like it or I don't. And so far I like it, you know what I'm saying? Nothing but positive about it, but that's just kind of on the outside looking in. Yeah. You know, but to answer your question, this internship has been amazing. And I'm kind of in a position to where I've never had an internship, so I can't really compare the experiences, you know, but again, when this thing was posted on the School of Business and Economics website, you know, you look at it and you're like, oh, that looks cool. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm pretty tech savvy. I'm, you know, of Hispanic descent. I am really big on social justice. I would really like, this is for me. You know what I'm saying? I really like it. I like the idea of equality and kind of creating equal opportunity for everyone else. I think that's important, you know? And when I first saw it, you know, I was like, okay, this is a good opportunity, but I didn't really understand what I was getting myself into. Yeah. And now that that I did get into it and kind of seeing the benefits and seeing all the outcomes and bro, like we're meeting with the dean, we're meeting with the directors, we're meeting with like people high up there, you know what I'm saying? Like people that are like doctorates and study this for a living, and they're like really excited about what we're doing. And it's just cool to see, and they tell us like, you guys don't understand how lucky you are. Like usually in internships, like they have you in the wine tasting room or selling stuff or stapling papers or kind of following people around, job shadowing, but we're so like in it and giving our feedback, and like they give us assignments to do, and
you're a part of the team.
Yeah, absolutely. It feels that way. You know what I'm saying? Whether we're not, maybe we're not, you know, like it's like giving your little brother the controller that's unplugged and making him think he's a part of it. Yeah. But they do a really good job of like putting their egos aside and like they're so open-minded, and they're like, well, yeah, we have 30 plus years of experience in this, but we want fresh perspectives. Like, what do you think? And then like I would change this. Like, that's a great idea. Like we'll do that. You know what I'm saying? Or like, yeah. like one of our assignments was to look at one of the pictures from like their promotions, like from their B-roll. So it was like the unused footage of like for like one of the emails for that month of a certain product, and like we looked at the best one, and she was like telling us what really you should look at when picking out one of these pictures and how it should fit the aesthetic, and like I picked one out and we ended up using it. So it's like a good feeling that it's like, oh, like I picked that picture. You know what I'm saying?
Sick. Hell yeah, bro.
It's sick, dude. It's sick, and they're awesome, bro. They're awesome people, and it's just cool because they're constantly reassuring you that it's like if you do good, you know, like it's obvious advice that you would give someone, like make sure you do good because this can help you in the long run. But they're constantly reassuring you. It's like if you continue to do well, like who knows what doors will open up. So that's the goal, you know, just to do my best, and hopefully something comes out of this. You know what I'm saying? But it's sick, dude. It's sick. And then the whole plan with this is to be able to present it to like the Wine Business Institute, and they have quarterly meetings, and they're talking about like a diversity and inclusion like summit, and like possibly presenting it in the summit, like a keynote or something. It's insane. It's sick, dude. It's sick. And just the possibility of that. And
When does this end?
This ends. So this was originally supposed to be from October to December 4th,
Okay.
but it's taken us longer. So we extended it into January.
Okay.
So
Another 2 months or so.
another 2
a month
months.
and
You
a
know what I'm
half.
saying? It's a good opportunity. It's fun. I enjoy it. I love the people. My partner that I'm working with, he's a great guy. I love it. It's sick.
Awesome.
I'm glad
man.
I did it. And I'll be honest, dude, I probably wouldn't have done it if we weren't doing this. Because
Yeah.
there's a whole personal growth aspect to everything that we do. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, everything you do, you want to be taking steps forward in life. And again, I don't know if I mentioned it, but just when that came up, I was like,
I remember you
like,
talked to me, you're like, should
yeah.
I do it? And I was like, hell yeah, bro, do it.
Why not? Like, just take the chance and look what's happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is opening up doors. I'm meeting new people. Like, if nothing comes out of this, just the experience alone, or just to be able to kind of reminisce on everything that's happened. Like, I'm happy about everything that happened. I'm excited. I'm learning a lot. I'm using
it's
a
all
lot
about.
of stuff. Also, like, they know that like we do the podcast and stuff, and they're very helpful. You know, like their digital marketing team is like, hey, you should check out this website if you want to be able to do this. Like, if I'm looking for certain color palettes for the pictures that we,
That's awesome.
post up, like there's a website that has certain color palettes that go together. There's a website that has certain templates. If a file's too big to upload it, like there's a compressor for like everything that you wouldn't think about. You know what I'm saying? When you make a thumbnail for a YouTube video, sometimes it's too big. So like you have to upload it to that website. It compresses it into a smaller file. Little details like that. You know what I'm saying? It just makes my life easier. They give us like they one of the girls that's like part of like the whole email project thing that we're doing with one of the clients. She was like checking out our Instagram page. Like, you guys should probably mess around with hashtags. It's like, oh yeah, I didn't even think about that. Like, why not? You know?
Yeah.
And then, bro, like I did it I probably should do it more consistently, but like I did it for Javier's, and like one of the hashtags was like Spain, Madrid, and like the first like we got was like someone that was like from Madrid. Just a random
person.
You know what I'm saying? Like that, just the hashtags alone, these little tools that you can use on social media can help you reach so much more people. And then again, like it's someone else's perspective. You know what I'm saying? That's a woman that's outside of our podcast that's does this for a living and just gives us a little tip like that.
That's so sick.
Super cool, super helpful, man. Like, it's been an amazing experience. I'm excited about it.
Awesome, man. Well, that was a little update on my life and Izzy's life right now, and we did a Q&A. We asked some we asked people to turn in some questions to us, and we got some pretty good responses. So
yeah, it's been an amazing turnout. It's just been cool. This is something new, something that somebody recommended to us that we should try out, and I think it's a great idea. And so we posted it up. Just ask us random questions or any questions about us or the podcast, and this is what we got.
all right. So what's up, you two brothers? What's the best bang for your buck for podcast equipment? You want to take this one?
Yeah. So for podcast equipment, I would definitely start off by really thinking about what kind of podcast you're going to do. And by that, I mean, whether it's just going to be you know, talking in front of your computer or in front of a camera, or you're planning on doing this with another friend, because once you get more than one microphone, that's kind of when your equipment changes. So kind of putting the microphone and everything aside, when you record into something, for example, when we first started, I'll give you the example of us, like our trial and error. When we first started, we bought USB microphones. So just like we're using now, but right now we're using XLR, so they plug into our recording system. But first we bought USB ones that would plug in straight to the USB, straight into the computer. Yeah. So our first issue was usually the computer we were using was my Mac, and it has one outlet. So we had to buy a splitter, an adapter to plug in multiple. But the issue with certain computers is that when you plug in more than one USB, we bought the same microphone. It didn't recognize two of the same microphones. Yeah. So it's just like this whole complex thing, and then you have to figure out what program you're going to record into. Whether you're on Mac, you can use GarageBand, which is what we were doing. You can use Adobe Audition, which costs money, and then you can use Audacity if you're on Windows. I think you can use Audacity on Mac as well. Mm-hmm. But you just decide what program you want to record into. And then after that, our issue was when we got them to identify as separate microphones, when we tried recording into Audacity, it would cut out after 18 minutes. So it was just a headache of USB and the sound quality. And so we decided to go the XLR route. But with this, we either had to plug that into a mixer, it's like a sound mixer that would then link to your computer, or buy a separate audio recorder. And we decided to go the audio recorder route. It makes it easier. We just match up the audio and the video in post-production. And then for me and Gabe, it just makes our life easier because it's more than one microphone. So that's another thing too. So the recording, the sound, you have to find something that picks up multiple microphones. So ours is a Zoom H6, and that one has up to 4 XLR plugs, so we can have up to 4 microphones. They have some that have up to 6, maybe just 2. So it really just depends on the format of your podcast, whether you want to have guests on or whether you just want to do it yourself. And that's just the audio. And so that's just so the microphones that we got were like the cheapest options.
Yeah,
right?
it was definitely a bang for your buck, but it wasn't really what we wanted to do, and that's why it didn't work for us. We were just trying to go for the cheap route because we're like, all right, we'll get what we need, like the bare minimum, and then we'll make it work. And we realized that what we got didn't work. Didn't work for what we wanted for the podcast. So that's why we had to, we got to send those back and then buy something else that's gonna make it work.
Yeah. So we learned through trial and error, but at the same time, we probably saved so much time and effort by looking at YouTube videos.
Yes.
So there's a lot of YouTube videos if you want to look up for equipment.
For anything,
setups,
honestly.
the basic setups to the most advanced setups, from microphones to the cables to what program you're using to what you're recording on.
Yeah.
And these microphones that we have are I think toner.
Yeah, toner.
These are toner XLR microphones, and we got them off Amazon, and it's probably, we can drop the link too. We'll put everything in the description.
For
but
sure.
These were, when we bought them, they were about $40, which is, in my opinion, pretty decent.
Yeah.
Each microphone comes with all the equipment, the cables, the boom arm, everything. So it was like everything you need without purchasing it separately. It was a kit for $40. So we got some of those, and there's definitely more options. So they probably range from $15 to $400.
Yeah, and I would definitely say for anything, do your research first. Like chances are somebody's been in your shoes and is thinking about the same thing. What am I going to buy? How am I going to make this happen? YouTube it. Trust me, somebody's made the same mistakes like we did.
Yeah.
And you can learn from that so you don't have to make the same mistakes, and you can just buy the stuff that you're going to be using, and you don't have to go and change anything or exchange anything again. So
Absolutely.
definitely look it up.
Absolutely. 100% agree, Gabe. And with us, like these, in my opinion, these microphones work fine.
They were fun. They were
there's
great.
other like Shure microphones that are like $350, $200, but
And I've gotten so many compliments on like, oh, your voice sounds so crisp. It sounds so nice. And
yeah, and
for
that's
$40.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's obviously working on it in post, So again, that's stuff you can do with like effects and boost up the voice and stuff you want to learn as well when you do that in your editing program. So what was that? Microphones, audio recording. So with audio recording, just to make it more specific, you can choose whatever program. If you want to do digital, you can do it into Audacity, Adobe Audition. You can do GarageBand. So you have a lot of options.
Yeah.
We addressed the microphones, and then also if you want to record it. So if you want to record it, we lucked out because my uncle already had a camera that he didn't use.
That's very true. Yeah.
So we were kind of just pulling together our resources and seeing what we do have and what we don't have and everything. And I still have to pay him back for the camera, but realistically, if you want to record yourself, all you need is a simple DSLR camera.
It doesn't have to be anything special.
Nothing's fancy. Yeah, as long as it records in 1080p, that's, in my opinion, it's good enough. Yeah, you're good. First, obviously, you think, well, what do we have? We have iPhones, but when you record with your iPhone, it's really hard to transfer that file over to a computer, and they've made it really difficult. Apple's made it really difficult to do that, and obviously, when the file size is larger than, like, say we want to record an episode that's more than 20 minutes, that file size is going to be huge, and it's going to be very hard to transfer over. And it's bigger than you can text over or AirDrop over or even download off your videos. Like when you do plug it into the iTunes and try to get it on iPhoto, like that video's not going to appear there. So it's just a hassle, Like we just thought we could just buy like little tripods for our iPhones and record it that way. Like that would have been decent, like it would have been good video quality, but it wasn't a possibility, and so we pulled together our resources, like I said, and my uncle had this camera, and we're using that camera. It's a little camcorder. It's not ideal, but it does a job, Like if it was up to me, we would have 2 or 3 cameras, I think, like to get a bunch of angles just to make the shot more intriguing whenever someone talks, but this is good enough, But again, just to answer the question, that's our complex answer. We can link to the stuff we have.
Yeah.
And what works for us. But at the end of the day, it really just depends on what kind of structure you want to have for your podcast and how many people you want to have on.
Yeah, and if you have any more specific questions, you can always just DM us individually and we can kind of go over it with you.
Hit us up, man. Hit us up. We know who this is. We're going to try our best to keep everything anonymous, but we know who this is. If you have any questions, just hit us up, man. We're more than happy to kind of give our feedback and share our knowledge and our insight. We hope we answered your question to the best of our ability. But again, if anybody out there is thinking about starting a podcast or thinking about starting a YouTube channel, do it.
Do it. This is especially a good time because it's right before Christmas, so you can add that to your Christmas list for other people. Right?
Absolutely.
Help on the cause.
Dude, there's just so many benefits. Like, it's just so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
It forces you to be consistent. You know what I'm saying? It forces you to be creative. It's just so much fun. Like, everything. Like,
do it, man.
Everything about it has been positive.
For sure.
Next question.
All right, next question. This is a good one. What's the most rewarding part about doing the podcast?
There's so much. You want to go first?
Yeah, sure. I think for me, it's definitely just been getting feedback. Getting feedback from people has been so dope. Literally, I can't stress that enough. Thank you to anybody who's reached out to me, to Izzy, to the Instagram podcast page. Dude, it's so dope hearing what you guys have to say. And even sometimes we were having a conversation and we found out that someone who listened to the podcast reached out to one of our guests and was asking questions about like if they wanted to go into that same field. And I thought that was so dope. Like, we kind of put that person on, and then that person's like now getting questions from other people who listen to the podcast. And I just think that's so rewarding to know that something we created, something we put out there, someone listened to, and then gained the courage to go and then ask the person we interviewed for that. So that's been super sick. What about you?
Well, there's so many. There's that. I would say that is like the selfless part of it. You know what I'm saying? Because obviously you like things to like for personal benefit. You know what I'm saying? Just being honest. But that like kind of helping others, maybe sparking an idea in someone else, helping them kind of get over that hurdle, or maybe they're on the fence about something and helping them like pull the trigger on maybe pursuing something, or maybe that talk with Mendel. Now you're thinking about getting your master's.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
That was huge.
Something like that. You know what I'm saying? We just want to be able to help people as much as we can. And I think that, like what you said, getting feedback is big. You know, like there's been many things that we've tweaked and done to our podcast because of the feedback that we got. So it's very helpful, you know what I'm saying? And kind of going back to that whole idea, excuse me, of getting different perspectives. You know, I think that's very important. You know, if we were just kind of to be stubborn and narrow-minded and just kind of try to go about it our own way, we probably wouldn't get far. You know, but I think the whole engaging with people and really listening to what they have to say, and obviously the compliments and everything is good. You know, like we've gotten a lot of heat as well sometimes and stuff. So I think it's good to kind of take that into account as well.
It's all good though. I appreciate anything.
Absolutely. Everything helps. But another thing too is when we do have guests on, I think it's so cool to see how excited they are to tell their story.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I love that, man. I love how
it's like kids in a candy shop.
I think it's so cool, man. I love it. Just how excited they are. Everybody wants to share their story.
Everybody does.
Whether
you know it or don't know it yet, when you sit down and you're about to, you're excited. You're like, okay, I got this to say. I got this to tell.
As everybody should, you know, like I feel you should have this certain self-confidence and sort of to
pride.
To want to talk about yourself, to want to talk about your story, and then the selfless part of it is like to have other people learn from it.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
That's the best part.
From your mistakes or from your successes, like that's just so cool to be able to kind of put that out there for people that want to listen to get something out of it. I would definitely say that. And again, the selfish part, so that's the selfless, you know what I'm saying? Kind of helping people. And the selfish part is like what I just talked about. And, you know, this is helping me out in school. This is helping me out in a potential career. Like that is also so rewarding that it's like, okay, well, this wasn't just a waste of money. This wasn't just a waste of time and effort. Like there's a purpose behind it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's cool, man. It's cool. I would say that like, it's very beneficial for myself and what I'm trying to do and trying to set up, you know? But yeah, I would say that. That's the selfish part.
Okay. Moving on. Question
Next.
3. Advice for people who are turning 20 or fresh out of high school. What would you recommend for people not considering college versus people trying to pursue a passion, etc.?
etc. What do you think?
Advice for people turning 20. Honestly, man, it sounds so cheesy, but it's really like following your passions, man. Like, it sounds so whack, and I hate saying that answer, honestly, because you're like, okay, here we go. It's one of those guys just gonna say, follow your dreams and everything will come true. It's like some Disney story. It's like, no, but like, everybody wants to be happy in the day. And if you're doing something, following a passion that makes you happy, regardless of what you're doing, dude, you're gonna want to wake up the next day. You're gonna want to go to work. You want to do what you're doing because it makes you happy. This is what makes us happy. That's why I look forward to going and doing the podcast. I look forward to going to work because I love working with the kids. Like, that's what makes it easy for me. But obviously some things are easier than others. Some things cost money and whatnot. So, but honestly, I'd say follow your passion, look at that, and then see if you can make a career out of it. What about you?
That's great advice. I'll be honest, like when I first got this question, or when we got hit with this question, like you think, well, am I the right guy to be answering this?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like maybe I just kind of went the college route like everyone else because I was just kind of fed that. But kind of once I was thrown into that environment, you do want to, like you say, explore what you do like and what you don't like. And it's just different, you know, because I'd be lying if I was like, I'm 100% following my passion. You know, I'm still trying to figure it out through the path that I took.
But that's okay.
That's okay. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like, it's okay. And when you do hear, like, make sure, like the whole expression, like, make sure you do something you love, or never work a day in your life. Yeah, but at the same time, it's like you can see what you're good at and what you're not good at, and then you can do a career based on that, and you'll be successful.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then keep your hobbies outside of that. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
In this case, if you're trying to pursue something that you're passionate about, like music or art or a vlogging, or, you know, what's another thing that video gaming,
A YouTube career or something like
I
that.
would definitely say, like in marketing, there's a thing that they say, scan your environment. See who your competitors are, see who people you want, like essentially have an idea of what you want to do. Let's say for this example, I want to be a musician. I want to be playing corridos. You know what I'm saying? I want to get good at that. So obviously, like, you're not going to succeed if you're not good at it. You know what I'm saying? So first of all, you got to perfect your craft. If that's something you want to do full time, and instead of like working 9 to 5, which is 100% respectable, you know, like I admire people like that. I would definitely say look around and see what people that are successful are doing.
Talk to those people. I think if you can pick somebody's brain who's doing what you want to do, I think that's the best thing, because that's something it's always really nerve-wracking, obviously, right? Like, say you want to be a mechanic and you know a lot about cars, but you never actually worked on cars or something. Go to a mechanic and just be like, hey, I'm interested in cars. I know a lot about them. Like, can I work here? Can I mentor? Can I look this over? Something like that. And it's like not being embarrassed about asking those questions, because most of the time people, maybe they'll be chill about it and they'll be like, oh yeah, cool, sure. Like, here, you can show me this, or I have time, I can show you about this or that. And it's just like asking those questions, because you're never going to know unless you ask, unless you reach out and take that risk.
Absolutely. And then especially now, just kind of accepting that everything is online. You know what I'm saying? Like, once you kind of realize that and see that you can use it as a beneficial tool, like, I'm just gonna put myself in that situation. Like, if I was trying to make a music career, I would focus so much on making like YouTube videos, making how-to videos, making cover videos, like, just get myself out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's like a local thing, like if I post something on Facebook, like that, for me, from a small town, I have a lot of people on Facebook, a lot more people than I have on Twitter, a lot more people than I have on Snap and on Instagram. But those social media platforms are so beneficial for you to just be able to get your voice out there. You know what I'm saying? And I would definitely make YouTube videos, YouTube clips. And then say you're having like a birthday party, I would come and play at your birthday party.
Yeah.
I would just do everything.
That's how it starts.
Absolutely. And I would understand that it's like, I'm not expecting to get paid right now. I haven't been there. I haven't done that yet. I haven't earned that right. I would grind it out. I would play free at places. I would just just market yourself. Get yourself out there. And then once you do, like, that's when people, first it'll start with word of mouth. You know what I'm saying? Like the expression, it's better to have 100 people that love you than 1,000 people that are just kind of like you. You know what I'm saying? Like, those 100 people are going to advocate for you.
Absolutely.
And again, play at birthday parties, play at parties, play it wherever, you know what I'm saying? And then eventually people are going to want to start paying you to do that. You know what I'm saying? Once you build it. It's like another example, like people that cut hair. First, you're not going to have, like, if I'm like, hey, I can line you up. It's like, well, okay, like, are you good? Well, I just started. It's like, well, I'm not going to pay you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's almost like you got to pay me for the privilege of cutting my hair.
Yeah.
But then the more practice you get, the better you get. The more you build your reputation, that's when you can start charging $5, $10, $25 at the end. You know what I'm saying? But at the beginning, when you start off, no one's going to want to pay you if you're not good.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you get good and you perfect your craft, that's when you can start charging money for it and then essentially make a living off of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But that's definitely my advice. Like you say, surround yourself with people that are successful. See what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong.
Yeah.
And I would 100% suggest the social media route. Make your own channel, make your own music, make your own everything. You know what I'm saying? Be a creator.
You got to let people know that you're out there.
Absolutely.
If people don't know you're out there, you're not going to be able to get that.
And that's a great question. And keep them coming, man. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Okay, moving on. All right, this is a pretty serious question. Get ready for this one. Who's the best COD player you've ever played with?
The best COD player? Oh, my God.
And before you answer, I'm sitting right next to you. So
It's just such a tough question. It's a funny one. I like that. Definitely Oliver Zemer. Shout out to Oliver Zemer.
Oh, is that the dude you told me about who's always dropping like 30, 40 kills? Or
So good, man. So, yeah, I mean, just like we love video games, you know what I'm saying? We play. It's something that we've done growing up. You know what I'm saying? Like,
everybody
I love
has,
it,
man. Starting from Mario Bros.
From Mario Bros to Super Mario Kart. What is it?
Mario Kart.
Mario Kart to everything, dude. Super Smash Bros. Tekken, everything. Just grew up playing video games. I love it. I'm not that deep into it, but it's still something that I would rather do than watch Netflix. You know what I'm saying? Like I get teased a lot for playing video games, but it's just fun. You know what I'm saying? When you play with your friends,
it's fun when you play with your friends. That's the difference. Yeah.
Like when you play battle royale games or like team first person shooter games, it's like you're on a FaceTime call, or you're like on a phone call with your homies for an hour, for 2 hours a day. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's
you learn so much about them. You're constantly talking with them. You're competing at the same time. You know, It's just fun. There's so much benefit to it, and I love it. You know, as long as you can balance out the physical activity, the getting work done. You know what I'm saying? Being productive and not kind of falling into that pit, because it's very easy. It's very addictive. You know.
Mm-hmm.
But I would definitely say, out of all my homies, they're probably gonna get mad at me for saying this, but I would definitely say Oliver, because he's solid, dude. He's solid.
Nice, huh?
He's so good. He drops like 20 to 25, 30 kill games, and I'm over here trying to break 10 kills a game.
Yeah. It's so demoralizing when you're playing with somebody who's so much better.
It's so much fun, though. It's so much fun because it's like it's so hard just to keep up with them. But it's lit. It's lit.
For sure.
Next question.
All right. What is it like being part of El Gallo squad?
Another kind of question.
Oh my goodness!
Shout out to El Gallo.
Shout out to Javier. Shout out to El Gallo God, as we call him on COD.
What a guy.
Yeah. So
I'll say I just started playing with you. I just met you, started playing with you, but I don't think I've lost a game playing with you. I'll say that.
Yeah, man, he's good.
He's good. He's a solid player. He's funny. He's cool.
Yeah, that's because I've been coaching him. That's why.
Really?
Yeah, we go. It's like 3 hours a day, man. We go in and I coach him.
Then that's when I hop in.
Yeah, man. It's been sick, man. El Gallo. Shout out El Gallo.
Shout out El Gallo.
Okay. What's the best goalie? What's the best goalie to play? Who's the best goalie to play at Mendo College? Okay.
Oh.
Who's the best goalie to play Mendo College?
Oof.
This is you. You went to Mendo College. You got to answer.
Again, they're putting me on the spot with my friends.
All right, man.
That's a good question. Well, Mendo's a recent program. A lot of good players have gone through there, and a lot of good goalies that have moved on to play. I would definitely say, I mean, the track record speaks for itself. You know, I'm probably going to have to go with Victor Hernandez.
Shout out, Vic.
Shout out to Vic, dude. He's a solid goalie. Easy to play with. He's great with his feet. He's big. He's got a huge presence. You know, I remember when we would do drills at Mendo, like 1v1 drills. You know, scoring goals isn't my first instinct. You know, I'm a center back, but when you do hop in those drills, it's fun to score goals. But I just remember whenever I would go up against Victor, it's just so intimidating because he's a massive guy.
He's huge.
He's a massive guy, and when you see, like, when you pick your head up and you're about to pick a spot to put the ball in, you know,
panic.
like to shoot.
Yeah.
You panic, and he just looks like he's just covering up the goal, and he's good, man. He's good. He's very acrobatic. He's great. Like I said, he's great with his feet. He's good in the air. He's very vocal. He's a funny guy, you know, doesn't take it too serious, but his first year they won the league. You know what I'm saying? I don't think another goalie has done that.
You got to give it to him then.
Got to give it to Victor, man. Got to give it to Victor, but at the same time, there's been other goalies, you know, honorable mention, freaking
Never forget.
Lisa Vala, never forget. Played my
Shout out Wicho.
first year with Wicho. He's a great guy. Played my second year with Wicho. He's a great guy, man. He's a great goalie. And he's one of those guys that you kind of see him. He doesn't really have a goalie's build, but he's very good at shot stopping. Very
Nice.
good at shot stopping. He's good with his feet as well. He's great. Val's also good. He was good to play with, but I think I played 1 year with him. I didn't really get to play with him too much, but he's doing really well. He moved on to Kansas. Victor also moved on to Kansas.
Nice.
Different schools in Kansas, but I'm gonna have to go with Vic, man.
All right, moving on. Okay, what can you do to help me get a Latina?
Oh, the next one? I think we know who this is. On a serious note, what do you feel like the feature? I just want to generalize.
I don't want to generalize either. And this is obviously not for all Latinas. I mean, it's just I think what we've seen. We could go based on that. But
Okay, yeah, the ones that are like super. What's the word I'm looking for? Like that are not whitewashed. You know what I'm saying? That are very.
What's the word? I'm trying to keep it.
Try to keep it politically correct.
Yeah, politically correct. I was gonna say authentic, but I was like, no.
That are like super
More
heavy
touched
on
culturally.
culture.
More- yeah,
on culture, on their morals, on their values. Not to say that others aren't, but those that really like. I mean, number one, you got to know how to dance.
Dude, huge. If you
Huge.
don't know how to dance, don't even bother. Don't even bother.
And I'm probably not the best guy to give this advice either, but
I think a lot of them are into like have
family-
big family values.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, and that's a big thing too. Like whether it's right or wrong, like I know people that won't talk to you unless their parents like you,
Mm-hmm.
and then I know other people that don't care if their parents like you. Or
Yeah,
not.
you got to get
know,
their
just-
parents' approval or their parents' respect before you can even like start dating them and stuff like that. Like that's like super like with the culture. But yeah, man, I mean it's huge. Big on family, big on dancing. Bruh, if you can eat spicy food, what are you doing?
Yeah, you gotta love Mexican
You gotta
food.
love Mexican food, yeah. Because I mean, we love that stuff. So
I feel like very heavy in the Mexican culture, you know, from people we've talked to and just growing up in it, you gotta be, what's the word I'm looking for? Not like machista, but I see like willing to like, I don't know
What are you trying to say?
I don't know what I want to say.
Whoa, be
I was
careful,
trying
man.
to say, I
We're
was trying
on
to say
air
like
right now.
the breadwinner, like I see like willing to kind of
like
take the
be a
role.
go-getter, be a
go-getter.
Yeah.
But then again, I feel like that goes with anyone. It's not specifically Latinos, you know? It just depends.
don't be a simp.
Don't be a simp. Yeah, but we know exactly who is asking these questions.
Yeah. And don't worry, you can DM us and we'll get more into detail with you about about how to make.
Again, I don't know if I'm the right guy to answer this, but I will say this: you are in a very good position to get yourself a Latina.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Absolutely, you're a
good to
great
go,
guy.
man.
You're a family man.
I'm sending them
you know-
all your way, by the way.
You know how to dance. You are doing very well for yourself. You're very into. I will say too, somebody that makes an effort. Obviously, the language barrier.
Oh yeah.
Somebody that makes an effort to speak Spanish.
That's huge. I think for everything though too, just make an effort to actually try to speak the language and
Ooh,
communicate.
yeah. That's
That can
good.
go for any language.
That's good, yeah, and that's
Yeah.
a big brownie points. Big on brownie
Absolutely.
points for the parents as well. Like they love just as long as you're making an effort, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Some parents will be more understanding than others, but I will say I know exactly who's asking this question, and you have met my parents, and they love the effort. They love the personality. Just be a great guy.
Yeah.
Get whoever you want.
Sky's the limit, man.
Sky's the limit, my guy.
All right, moving on. What's something about yourself you like to work on? Oof. All right, you go first.
There's so much. Right off the top of my head, something that has been difficult for me in my life has definitely been patience. I feel like a
Interesting.
lack of patience is very has been like the whole thing when you know the whole Sanborn thing, like, you know, it's a story I've talked about, like when I had to leave Sanborn, it was very scary for me not to know what my next step was. And you know, I become very impatient and I panic and I'm like what's going to happen? Like, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what my plan is for the next month and just like, if I'm just to like kind of chill out and be patient and kind of let things unfold, my life would be so much less stressful.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's an example. Impatient with people and impatient. I just need to be more understanding. Maybe I think that's what comes with it, or maybe just kind of like take a step back and kind of like see it from a different perspective. But I would definitely say patience is something that I've always struggled with. Whether it's relationships with people or like assignments or jobs or something. Just I think a lack of patience has been my downfall more often than I would like.
Okay. I'd definitely say for me it's time management. It's like making sure my work ethic is in place, because I mean this was my biggest thing in college. I always kind of put things off and I procrastinated. I still did well. Hey, I passed all my classes.
You're kind of a big deal, man. You're kind of a big deal.
And even in high school too, but mainly in college, I put stuff up and I still passed. But it was like I was always stressed out because I put everything to last minute. And it's like in anything in life, like if you can plan ahead, do it, because you're gonna be less stressed when the date comes, when you have to like turn something in or you have to do something by a certain date. And like for me, even just work, like I always try to make little to-do lists. I've been trying to work on that. And I know I talked to you about it. You said like get one of those 5-minute journals where you can kind of write what you need to do. And I highly recommend that because it's really helpful if you just see, if you can visually see what you need to do that day or what you need to get done. And then you can start checking those off. Like it just makes you feel so much better.
Absolutely.
So definitely do that.
That's key. Kind of piggybacking off that whole checklist or to-do list. There's something so rewarding about checking stuff off your to-do list. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why people say like make your bed in the morning. It's just one little accomplishment, one little achievement, your first achievement of the day. Something as simple as like writing a to-do list, like I'm gonna wake up, I'm gonna shower, I'm gonna make coffee, I'm gonna get ready for the day. That's something you were gonna do anyways, but if you just write it down and start checking things off, like you're like, man, I'm so productive today, Yeah. But another thing that's very beneficial about that is a lot of times that whole procrastination, or maybe you're like, man, I have so much to do, and then you write it down, you're like, wait, that's only like 4 or 5 things, but when it's jumbled up in my head, it's so overwhelming. You know what I'm saying? But once you write it down, it's easier to be organized and kind of track everything you have to do.
That's a really good point.
And then once you write it down, you can prioritize what you need to do first. What's the most important? What you could probably put off till tomorrow.
Yeah, because a lot of times you're not going to get everything done on that list.
Yeah,
and that's what I've noticed. But I crossed out the most important things, or I put a star next to the things that I need to get done today, and then the other stuff I'll leave for the next day. And then I'll either rewrite the list or I'll just add on to that list I wrote from the day before. And I usually get all my stuff done that way.
Absolutely. So, yeah, I would definitely highly recommend that 5-second journal. You can find it at Barnes & Noble. Very beneficial. I love it. I use it every day. Plugged up the homie Matt Mall with it. Shout out to Matt Mall. And hopefully he's using it. Hopefully he's using it daily. But yeah, I would definitely say patience and time management.
Time management.
Absolutely.
All right. Moving on. Will this podcast be long-term as a hobby? What's the vision? I think so.
I think so too. It's just, like, there's a lot of hurdles right now, with COVID and everything. And it's kind of like obvious. And we kind of knew it coming in. Long term, yeah, absolutely. That's the goal, to continue to do this, to just keep expanding and finding new guests and different perspectives and different stories. And honestly, another thing too that I really like about what we're doing is if we do, let's say, get like a professor on from Davis that you talk to, or one of my business professors, or a business owner that we know somewhere else, or just a different perspective from the outside of Fort Bragg community, and to be able to bring that knowledge into the community, I really like that. And that's something that I don't see anyone else doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that can be beneficial for people here that wouldn't necessarily get that insight in school here. You know what I'm saying? Like what if you could just bring all the knowledge from the universities outside into this community? You know what I'm saying? And essentially,
it's going to benefit so many
absolutely.
people.
And essentially, it's like having somebody that goes to school somewhere else to come back and kind of give back to the community. It's almost the same concept, but in that case, like, you're having someone that has the experience. You know what I'm saying? But with what we're doing, it's almost like a shortcut, and it's almost like another way to kind of get that insight and again, hopefully connect somebody. But long term, like I mentioned earlier, the whole, like, what if I move to Santa Rosa? What if you stay here? What if you move to Santa Rosa, I stay here? Like, the whole
logistics of it.
Yeah, I mean, we're probably gonna have, if we do that, we're probably gonna have to plan way ahead and have a bunch of episodes in the vault to where
we're gonna have to break it up into seasons maybe, and then have like 10 episodes a season or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, there's always a way to do it, and we would just have to figure it out. I mean, that's just one of the hurdles that would have to come with it. But yeah, I would definitely like to do this long term.
Absolutely.
Again, with everything that you're doing, you're gonna be growing. There's going to be steps to...
You got to learn how to adapt to everything.
Yeah. Absolutely. But yeah, to answer your question, yeah, long term, I love it.
All right.
I'm willing to do it.
Moving on. We're almost done here. What difficulties have you guys come across since starting the podcast?
Since starting the podcast,
I think for me, it's the biggest thing is scheduling stuff, because you have class from certain times, I have work for certain hours, and then I have meetings after those days, and it's just like sometimes you want to get an episode in and we just physically can't, because I'm not going to be off till like 5 or 6 o'clock, and then you have class from that time, or you have something else at that time. So I think for me, it's definitely just been trying to schedule when we get stuff done.
Yeah, absolutely. I would definitely say that too. The scheduling, like again, the content that we put out has been at times challenging because we have so much going on. So you do have to balance what you want to put effort into. Like if you do have something due, or you have class, or not class, work. I have class, and you have meetings, and I have meetings, and it's just like, when do we do this? When do we get this done? You know. But again, you figure it out. You work through it. You find a way. And I would definitely say, kind of looking ahead, our next challenge is definitely going to be finding a location and time to do it. You know, if we do move on and try to find our next step, or try to kind of go about our next steps in life, you know, how we're going to deal with that. We'll
cross that bridge.
That's a problem for future Gabe and future Izzy. Let's just say that.
Don't worry about it. We're not going to worry about it now. I'll add it on my to-do list.
Yeah, but I would say not many. I would say not many complications, not many hurdles as of yet.
It hasn't been that bad, honestly. Yeah, we've been pretty flexible with each other's schedule and stuff like that. So we managed to make it work, but obviously it still makes it more challenging when we physically can't do something at a certain time that maybe you have free or I have free. Yeah,
it's just a lot of times too. Like when you're like, oh, I have an idea. Like, bro, we should go do this. It's like, oh, I can't until this. It's like, damn. Like, that would say that's probably an issue. Like, because there's times where you get that random spike of motivation, and you're like, man, I want to go do this. Yeah. But your partner can't.
Yeah, I get that at 1 a.m. I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm gonna do
He's probably asleep.
I'm like, damn, he's sleeping. Yeah. All right, moving on.
Great questions, by the way. Great questions.
Yeah. Where's the merch at, Izzy?
The merch, dude. Funny you say, because we were kind of throwing around some ideas, you know. Personally, I would like to kind of build a little more before we kind of start trying to sell things. Agreed. You know, I would definitely say the merch would probably be free the first time around.
Oh yeah, I'd love to do that. That'd be so sick.
Just kind of plug up for sure, like the guests we've had on with merch.
People keep on supporting us.
People keep supporting
commenting,
us.
Leaving
we
reviews.
We could do like a giveaway. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That'd be like, there's a lot of ideas that come with it. You know, first and foremost, you need to have ideas. So we'd have to get together and design something. We have a few designs, and the exciting thing I will say, nothing's you know, made public yet, but we are in the works of working with people to sponsor something like that. You know, like we've had a lot of support in this community, and we're very thankful for that. And it's definitely coming. It's definitely coming. Whether t-shirts or hoodies, it just depends. But it has to be right. We don't want to rush anything. But I will say definitely soon, maybe the new year.
Hey, hold on.
Hey, you never know. You know
just stay tuned. Stay
tuned. Yeah.
All right. Final question. Let's wrap this up. Let's hear what you guys are thankful for in life, close, opportunity, the lessons, etc.
It's a great question. Very appropriate as it's Thanksgiving week. Kind of stepping away from the podcast, I would definitely say I'm very thankful for my family, my immediate family, you know, my cousins, my uncles, everybody that supports us, supports me. You know, they ask me how I'm doing, everything. My parents have been very, very, very big in my life. I feel I live a very privileged lifestyle. You know, I know I've never had to worry about food on the table, clothes growing up. I've never had you know, like, in one of the first episodes we joked about, like, not really knowing that we were considered, like, what's the word I'm looking for?
Like lower class.
Yeah. Like, and until like you sign up for FAFSA and you realize really how much your family makes compared to other families. And right. But again, like, I've never felt that way growing up, and I feel like it's a perspective, and it's just the way my parents raised us, and you know, everything I've had. You know, I've never been hungry. I've never been discriminated against. You know, I've never had to deal with racism here. I live a very privileged and very sheltered lifestyle, and I'm thankful for the things I know, and that all really comes from my parents and how they raised me and my brother. I'm thankful for my friends. I'm thankful for you. I'm thankful for this podcast. Thankful for everybody that supports us, man. The lessons I've learned, man. Thankful for all that. That's how you grow as a person. That's what you. A lot of times, maybe they're not your lessons. They're someone else's lessons. To be able to analyze a situation and see, well, I don't want that to happen to me. Hopefully people get that out of what we're doing as well. What works for people, what doesn't work for people. Maybe just look at that and see how that can apply to your lifestyle. But again, I'm thankful for everything I have. What's funny too, bro, is that there's times where my dad just kind of like, we're just hanging out or just having dinner or something, and he'll just got like these random thoughts. Like, are you happy? Like, are you really happy with your life?
Damn.
And you start to think like, I really am. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've never suffered. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like the things I do, like sports or exercise, or those are like, that's like my biggest suffering. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, like things don't work out in life, or you feel like things aren't going to work out, or like the whole thing with Sam Byrne, like that was my lowest point. But I look back and I'm like, that was nothing compared to other things. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, my parents had it way worse in Mexico, but again, it just kind of like goes back to the life I live and what my parents have taught me and what they've done for me. So I would definitely say I'm thankful for all that and all the life lessons, because that ultimately is what helps you grow.
Yeah. And for me, I definitely want to agree with you on the family thing. That's huge. I mean, I'm so thankful for my family. They've been supportive through this whole process. Brothers, sisters, all of them have been honestly so awesome throughout the whole thing. Like, my sisters always tell me, like, you should interview this person, or have you thought about this person? They'd be a good guest, or ask that person, and just encouraging me to kind of like step out of my comfort zone and ask those people. Because I know for me, that was one of the biggest things that I kind of struggled with. I was like, oh, this person would make a great guest. Okay, cool. And we kind of just let it sit there, you know what I mean? And don't ask. Yeah. You don't want to ask because you fear the rejection. You fear the, no, I don't want to be a part of that. And it's just like, no, like, who cares? The worst thing you're going to hear is a no. The worst thing you're going to hear is maybe the no response back, and you move on with your life. You move on to the next person, move on to the next guest. So I'm definitely thankful for my family. I'm thankful for health, that I'm healthy. My family's healthy. My friends are healthy. Especially during these crazy times where, you're hearing all these crazy stories and cases are spiking and whatnot. Like, I'm happy that we're all been healthy, we've all been safe, and hopefully that continues. I'm definitely thankful for the guests that we've had on, for all the support that we received for the podcast, the continued support, the comments, the replies, all of that stuff has been so awesome, because it just, when I see that stuff, it makes me think like, okay, I'm doing this for a purpose. Like, there's a reason behind this. People are seeing it, and I need to continue doing what I'm doing. So honestly, thank you so much for everyone who's reached out to me, to you, to the podcast. And it's motivation.
Absolutely.
Motivation to keep on going.
Absolutely. And also, like, just being, like, I just love, like, honestly, this whole year, as much as it's been crappy for a lot of people, like, it's been very beneficial for me and my family. Like, we've gotten a lot out of it, like, the beginning of the year, like, my parents got their residency, I came back to school, I started getting, like, back in the groove. I tried out for the team. I made it. Like, this happens. I get to spend more time with my family. My dad started making bread again. That's his passion. Mm-hmm. Helping him out with that, kind of applying what I do know from school and into that, and kind of helping it grow. And it's been fun. Like, this whole podcast, people we've met from it, like from Lloyd's episode, like, I started my little garden.
Yeah.
Like, there's just been so much. I just got my passport. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's just been so much positive that I've gotten out of this. And I feel like that's just, first of all, I think it's a mindset. I think you have to put yourself, but again, like, I'm thankful for everything that's happened this year. You know what I'm saying? And there, it can easily be spun into something negative. And I do realize that a lot of people have, like, suffered and kind of gone through hardships this year, as everyone has, but I feel like it's important to be very positive and try to get something out of it, as opposed to losing a lot from it, Mm-hmm. But, yeah, that's another thing I'm thankful for. I'm kind of just piggybacking off your point right there, because you did mention something that kind of brought that up. But a lot of good questions. I love this. This was fun.
Yeah, this was really fun. Yeah.
Ask some questions that kind of help us dive deeper into us, to give you guys some more insight about us. Chilling here with our homie Elvis Presley.
Thank you, everyone who submitted a question. Sorry we didn't get to all of them, but for those who submitted the questions, we really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. We just want to say happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving, man.
We're going to enjoy our holidays. We hope everybody enjoys yours as well. And we just want to say thank you so much for tuning in. Mm-hmm. Catch you guys next week.